Hey there! Welcome to SkyGems Academy podcast. At SkyGems Academy, our vision is to build a community of new generation leaders with strong core values, high level of self-awareness, high self-worth, and passionate individuals who will give back to the community and the environment. We are focused on delivering high-quality blended online learning of 21st century life skills delivered and taught online, practiced and perfected offline. Our philosophy is to inspire, educate, and nurture. We work towards inspiring and igniting sparks. We listen, we coach, we fine-tune and accelerate the mastery of 21st century life skills for various age groups. Our blended learning programs are curated from the early years to above 60 years old, as we believe in providing high-quality, lifelong learning for everyone. SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 1: How COVID-19 Transformed the Education Industry. We will take you inside the minds and behind the scenes of 40 exclusive leaders and educators in the education industry. We've interviewed 40 exclusive educators and leaders in the education industry worldwide, starting with China, where the pandemic initially started. You will hear from the leaders in the education industry sharing candidly their views on the possible changes that will take place in the education industry post-COVID-19. Be sure to tune in to SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 1 to listen and learn from the amazing stories, experiences shared, challenges faced, and techniques used by educators in different cities and countries to adapt and overcome their challenges personally as well as professionally in their respective roles in the education industry during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, let's dive into SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 1. Introducing to you our host, Alyssa.
Hey guys, it's Alyssa. Hope everyone is keeping well. SkyGems Academy Podcast is a passion project that my team and I kicked off in early 2020. As we are all facing the unprecedented events and experiences impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, we find that there is an urgent need to unite the global community of educators and leaders to progress forward together. Our main objective is to create a platform for all global leaders and global communities to come together to document these historic moments for our future generations. SkyGems Academy Podcast is a platform for everyone from all around the world to share, listen, learn, communicate, collaborate, and come together to network and help one another to pull through this very challenging period that has impacted the global community. In each episode of SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 1, How COVID-19 Transformed the Education Industry, you will find yourself immersed and engaged in in-depth discussions and thought leadership in various aspects of education, technology, humanity, diversity, disparity, and collaborations in the education space. We are very grateful and sincerely appreciate each and every one of you who has motivated us, encouraged us, contributed in your own very special ways, especially our 40 exclusive guest speakers from all around the world. A big thank you to all and a big shout out to all of you. I am pleased to introduce you to our distinguished speaker for SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 1 Episode 11, Ashley Penny. Here's some key highlights of Ashley's amazing track records. Ashley has over 30 years of experience as a teacher, a leader, and education consultant. With nearly 20 years of experience within an Australian context and 12 years of international experience in China, United Kingdom, Indonesia, and Nauru Island. As the principal of an IB World School, which offers continuous education from early years to year 13, Ashley is no stranger to China. He has spent 8 years working in Shanghai, where he was the assistant principal of YK Pao School and the founding principal of the Shanghai HD Bilingual School. Ashley is a passionate and committed educator. Ashley strongly believes that a school community should embrace change and support all members. I quote and unquote Ashley Penny. As things developed across the world, it is important to stay calm and remember, like everything else, this would pass. Now, let's tune in to SkyGems Academy Podcast Episode 11 for Ashley Penny's podcast. Today, we are having the privilege and honor to have a very special guest speaker, now located in Suzhou, China. A very warm welcome to Mr. Ashley Penny. Hello, Ashley. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, Lisa. Very well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us in SkyGem Podcast. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. It's great to be here.
Thank you. It would be really nice if you could introduce yourself to the audience, Ashley.
Sure. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Obviously, my name is Ashley. I've had 30 years experience in education. I've covered sort of working in 5 different countries, being the UK, Indonesia, Nauru Island, Australia, and now in China. I've really enjoyed the 30 years of education, of growth and development as a leader, as a person, as a teacher. In the last sort of 10 years, I've spent most of my time flipping between Australia and China, where I've been involved in leadership positions in Australia, in Melbourne, which is hometown, and also in China, in Shanghai, where I was with YK Pao School, and I was also the founding principal of the Shanghai HD Bilingual School. So I've had a lot of experience in the Chinese concept as well as being in Australia and using the Australian curriculum and other international curriculums as well. So I've really enjoyed my journey so far, and I'm really enjoying I've been in Suzhou now for only 6 months. I started with the school in January, just before the coronavirus hit. So I'm the principal of the Eaton House School in Suzhou now.
What a rich experience that you have, Ashley. Amazing. Thank you for sharing, and also be part of our show, because it is going to benefit a lot of us, definitely. I'm very confident of that. Thank you, Ashley.
Hope so. Great.
Yeah, you just mentioned that you were shuttling around Melbourne and China quite a lot, and recently joined a new school in Suzhou, Eaton House International School.
Yeah,
just started in January, where the coronavirus hit. Wow, that must be a challenging period.
Right, it was a journey. I think it was the 6th of January, actually. Coronavirus sort of took shape in the end of January. I was literally 13 school days in the principal's chair, so to speak. So it was quite a challenging few weeks to begin with.
Tell us more about the environment that you were in back in January before the coronavirus hit in China, and also what are the situations that you are facing and challenges you are facing throughout that time in January?
Sure. Obviously, where I started the school sort of as the end of semester, took over from a previous principal. So I was brand new to the school, brand new to the operations of the school. Had spent many years in bilingual education, but this was a different platform for me, being a completely international platform, which I'm really enjoying. Just something completely different, being in a bilingual environment. So being in the school and getting to know the staff, getting to know the senior leadership, it was quite a sort of daunting couple of weeks. And then obviously the situation unfolded from the city of Wuhan, which rapidly made a huge impact in China and around the world. So I went from this situation where I was just getting into and getting used to a school to then being confronted with a situation which it felt like I was living in a dream or in a movie. It just didn't seem to be that real at the time, but certainly did. I mean, as the Chinese New Year holidays progressed, it certainly started to unfold much more rapidly.
That was really a journey, as you said, and I'm sure it was a lot of uncertainty. How do you feel about the COVID-19 pandemic right now as well as back then?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it honestly felt like a dream. It felt like something that I wasn't really living, but I've very quickly developed. And it was a challenging situation, I guess, for everybody. Being in China at the beginning, we certainly learned how to adapt and work with the situation and, with the requirements from the government and what we could and couldn't do. So we really needed to be a big part of the community here to, hopefully work with the situation, as they say, flatten the curve. I guess as things developed across the world, it was important for me to sort of stay calm and remember, like everything else, this would pass. and certainly, has progressed in recent months. But at the beginning, when it was developing across the world, when the coronavirus was developing across the world, I was a bit nervous in the sense that I didn't feel that the populations of other countries or various countries were listening to their government bodies at their update as what we had been doing in China. And I felt that the situation was escalating to a degree. But certainly now, looking back at the situation now, you can certainly see that the curve has been flattened in many countries, and the situations are really, really becoming more relaxed. Certainly in China, in Suzhou, where I am now, we are moving forward, upwards and onwards, as they say. We've got, after being involved in online learning since February, we now have all the students back at school. We have our full school, all our staff are back, all our students are back. And it really is schools are much nicer when they've got noise and children chatting and moving around. So it is certainly moving forward. And I know that different areas of the world are moving forward as well, perhaps at a little bit of a slower pace, but still moving forward in the right direction. So, I do believe that the curve is flattening, which is great to hear, great to see.
We will all hope and pray that everything will be back to normal, at least the new normal pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly.
For everyone, like China.
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You mentioned just now the school started to go online from 15th of February onwards, and most recently now back to school.
That's right.
Would you be able to share the challenges that you were facing and your team were facing? Transiting from during Chinese New Year, I remember back then, 15th of February, China was still having Chinese New Year holidays.
That's right.
How did you cope with all that? It is so incredible.
Yeah.
Could you share?
Well, I guess definitely.
Thank you.
I guess I'm going to sort of look at this in two different ways, sort of how was it challenged professionally, but then also how is it challenged with personally, if you like. Professionally, moving from face-to-face teaching to remote learning it's a change. It was something that was brand new that people had not really experienced before. And it was a new challenge. And it looked differently, I guess, and it sounded differently.
Yeah.
It was a challenge in the sense of making sure you brought the parents on board as well, because this was a new learning for everybody, but for the parents, how is this going to impact on the education of their children? So it was really important to make sure the parents were on board as early as possible. As I mentioned before, Alyssa, just joining the school, I was sort of making decisions and calling decisions that it was brand new to me. So, but it was amazing. We do have a great staff here in Suzhou at Eaton House, and they were fully supportive for the new journey, did it with confidence and professionalism. So the support was 110%, which was great. I mean,
that's
for
remarkable.
a newcomer or someone to be just in the seat, it was great. But also I did need to reflect and know that the staff were still on their Chinese New Year holiday and they didn't have much time to prepare. I mean, I know in Australia, they had prepared this for 2 or 3 weeks before they were going to shut the schools. We didn't have that luxury of time. So
exactly,
I did need to give the staff that benefit. They were on holidays and they did need to sort of cut their holidays short. They needed to set up their virtual classrooms and organise what online learning was going to look like for them. We also had students and staff that were scattered around the world, so to speak. A few of our staff members were on holiday in remote locations with only their iPhone because they were going on a holiday.
Yeah.
They never thought they were going to need the access to their laptop or their files whilst they were away. So that was a different challenge for them. It was a huge challenge actually for a few of them that were out. But like everything, they got over it and they were professional and succeeded in that area, which was great, which is really great.
It is so remarkable that when faced with adversity, we are able to come up with solutions in meeting those challenges that we face. It kind of pushes us to make sure things move forward, right?
That's right. There was lots of discussions, online discussions, whether it be Zoom, whether it would be WeChat, but there was a lot of conversations that had to be had. And as I was saying before, I'm just being in the seat, decisions that I had to make and discussions I had to have when I didn't even know people's names, probably because I'd only been there for such a short time.
Yes.
So that was a challenge, But if I look at it, if I look at personal challenges for me, I guess the restrictions of not being able to move around and travel was, obviously, being sort of stuck at home and in sort of quarantine, if you like. That was a challenge for me, something that I'd never experienced before. I think wearing a mask, it seems like 24/7 is something that we're still doing now, but I'm getting used to that. Getting a little bit frustrating now because the weather is warming, I guess.
It's warm,
warmer.
isn't it?
So it's hot with those masks on. But I guess also just at the forefront when all this was going on, being new to Suzhou, I mean, I wasn't new to China, but unfortunately my language skills are quite limited. So having been in a new city and having significant language barrier,
Yes.
it did cause me stress at times as well. When you go to get on a bus or you go to use the metro, and you've got to make sure show your green health code card, and it was all a bit daunting in that regard. But we got by, which was good.
Wow. Yeah. How do you overcome those challenges, and what changes do you have to make to adapt, Ashley?
Yeah. I guess with remote teaching and learning also comes remote management meetings, and I guess developing a strong and authentic relationship with the senior leadership team was crucial. It was absolutely crucial in moving forward. And again, people are only known for 13 or 14 days. So we, again, had lots of online discussions and online or individual chat. It was important for me to develop a platform for the team where they could share previous experiences and I could ask questions related to policies and procedures of the school, because they had the knowledge, whereas I didn't. But I had to sort of quickly get a grip of what was going on in the school and how the school operated and how the school ticked. At that point, I really wasn't that familiar. So I guess it was important to create that platform. I guess I consider myself by nature someone who's very flexible and a trustworthy person, but I needed to really make sure that I trusted and I showed people that I trusted them, and I gave faith in the team to help me move forward and really completely trust the program coordinators to really make sure that they had a good understanding of what was happening in their section of the school. Being an IB school, we've got 3 programs, which is PYP, MYP, DP. So those coordinators really give trust to them to know that the school was moving forward in the right direction. And I guess knowing that the school was running smoothly as well and the operations were going on. If I talk to you, Alicia, about our conversations or our meetings and online meetings, at one point I was working remotely in Australia while another team member was based in the US.
Wow.
So time zones.
The time zone. Wow.
A huge challenge. Like, I was getting up early. Someone was going to bed late in the US. It seemed like some days the days needed to have 30 hours, not 24.
Wow.
So that was quite a challenging time, definitely.
That is amazing what you just shared. And I think the tenacity of your team, the resilience that you have just demonstrated as a leader, right? To bring people together, number one, really bringing a team together and having that trust and authentic leadership is something that is really remarkable, Ashley, that you have done in a very short period of time.
Thank you. I mean, it had to happen. We're in this situation. Everybody knew the situation we were in, and the team, where I mentioned before, the teachers and also the leadership team, there was 110% commitment from everybody because we were in this together. I was brand new and we're in here together, and I needed that guidance. I guess I needed to be guided and sort of to be able to. I needed to have that platform where I could ask questions and staff would, respond accordingly, because it was really important. It was really important to have that to, I guess, empower success for everybody, to make sure everybody felt that they were being successful.
Indeed, we are in this together. Yeah, together we will stay strong and overcome any challenges. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's right. And as I said before, like the fully support and the trust for the program coordinators was something that had to happen, and it had to make sure it really was something that was evident and was alive in the school. So I guess in turn, my belief and my hope was I provided a great platform for the coordinators, which in turn provided a great platform for our teaching staff. Because that support in this critical, challenging time support was crucial.
Empowerment and support, is really going hand in hand.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Ashley, would you be able to share with audience today what are the lessons that you have learned throughout the pandemic?
Wow. Many.
Many. So do I.
I guess the main thing is really to be always prepared for the unknown.
Yeah.
We need to be flexible and have an open mind about the future. Every day is a new day. And we need to be ready for any challenges that may arise, I guess, is the main part of it. Mm-hmm. For me, working in schools is unpredictable, and I like that. I like the fact that I go to school every day and it's going to be different. It makes it exciting for me. So from the events of one day to the next can actually be completely opposite, which is one thing that I thrive on. But however, the recent experience with the COVID-19 has really pushed those boundaries for me.
Yeah.
Because it was so different. And as we went through day by day, things were changing, and you could hear different legislations coming from the government or different policies. Things were changing quite rapidly.
Yeah.
So it was pushing boundaries for me, which I probably didn't think I would get, but certainly did. I guess a significant lesson for me that I have learned is to always provide open and clear communication with the members of the community, with the parents. I believe that has certainly settled their nerves and develops trust and loyalty to the school and to the leadership team. If I had to do it again, I would probably even make sure I was in more communication with the parents. I think we did that well, but I think we probably could have done it better as well. That's a lesson learned, but I certainly believe the parents were very familiar with what was going on, and that's one of the main aspects when you've got these sorts of situations occurring.
It's really nice to hear that, bringing the parents into this together, right, as we progress. From a school perspective, it's always nice to have the full community working together to achieve success for the child.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's about everybody working together. Like I'm a strong believer of in the education world, there is, it's like a triangle. There's the teacher, the student, and the parents all working together to achieve, we're all here for the same purpose about being child-centered education and making sure that we are here for the child. So we've all got to be working together, with that moving forward.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you, Ashley. I realized that talking to a few educators during this podcast series, COVID-19 has transformed the education industry. What's your views on that, and what do you think may change post-COVID-19?
The main obvious thing is remote learning, working off-site in different locations. I really feel that that's been something that we've had to celebrate, and we've had to get a really quick understanding of how efficient this really is. With education. Using technology to bring learning communities together is really important. It's something that's really highlighted sort of February. I know in late February I needed to host our parent meetings online. I was in Australia, but I had to host parent meetings for the different year levels in the school. Although this wasn't as personal that I would have hoped, it certainly reached the audience, and what we were trying to achieve was achieved. But it also makes you think about going forward. Do we think, okay, so what are parent information sessions or parent-teacher interviews or conferences going to look like? For busy families, do they need to be at present face-to-face? Can we do it remotely? Can we do it in a virtual or online? Because I think for some families, it's hard to get to the school at certain times when they've got their own schedules. Like, as I said before, the parent meetings that I hosted online, parents could be anywhere. They could be at work, they could be at lunch break, they could schedule their time accordingly. So I think it worked well because, people could attend. They didn't have to be at the school. They didn't have to be, school hall sitting and listening. They could be anywhere around the world. We had parents in China, we had parents that were in Italy, we had parents that were in the UK. They made themselves available for these meetings. So it was really successful. We've still got families who are outside of China because of the borders are closed. So our teachers are doing face-to-face teaching. And we also have students that are dialing in for the lessons anywhere around the world. So this is really proving to be successful as well. So we've got that face-to-face going on in one side, but also we've got that online learning going on within the same lesson, which is really proving to be quite successful. I guess a growth point for me, a growth point or a strategic move for a school like Eaton House, like our school network, where we have got schools in different locations in China or in the world, in fact, could we be looking at offering our students greater subject choices? We could develop that and create that virtual classroom with our senior students. Could they attend classes that were being hosted in, for example, Nanjing, and learn remotely through a different subject choice in a different location? So then we don't always have to offer exactly the same programs that we do now. We could spread that around, and we could actually have students learning remotely from a different location, which I think would be a great idea, a great move forward.
That is a great idea, Ashley, and I think that will work. This is something
it's certainly working now. So
exactly, right?
I can't see why it wouldn't work. Yeah.
You are already doing it, and it's already proven to be successful. This is just extending beyond your own boundaries of your school to another group of Eaton House.
Yeah, that's right. So, in that situation, instead of us having, for example, offering 10 DP subjects, we might offer 8, but another school might offer a different 8. And so we can grow what we can offer the students and extend how they learn and where they learn from. So I think it's a really positive step forward for schools like ours that we could offer different programs at different locations.
I like that idea. That's fantastic. Just giving more options to the students as well for different programs that will enrich them.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ashley, for sharing. That's wonderful. So, Ashley, I see that in China, things are getting quite back to normal. And I believe there'll be a new normal for you now or even for the future. How would your new normal look like, Ashley? Would you be able to share?
I guess we need to look at the world. The world is, I think, is much smaller than what we originally thought.
Absolutely.
During the COVID-19, we have really been able to see how digitally we can access different platforms worldwide. We can learn from others. We can connect with other people, not just in the same city, but in different countries all around the world. And that can have a powerful impact on what we are doing and how, people are re-looking at their lives and what they do in their lives, in their work as well. I think the corporate office jobs may begin to look differently as well. I don't think we'll need to have large, expensive office spaces as what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
Senior managers, CEOs, they've seen that in recent months, employees can work from home and they can have a split shift between sort of home and office and maintain productivity, which I think is really important. I think it's going to be the future for that movement in that area. It's really going to be exciting and look differently in sort of 2 or 3 or 4 years to come. So I think there's a lot of scope for digital platforms and how people are going to work. And as I said before, how we can offer different subjects in our school and how different students can attend different subjects is going to be something that we can look forward to as well, and make sure that, we can offer the best possible education as we can for the students within, say, our network of schools in Eaton House.
Thank you for sharing, Ashley, your new normal. It definitely will be a different world moving forward for all of us.
It's going to be very exciting, I think. Very exciting.
Yes, indeed. And I would love to catch up again to see how things progress.
See what's happening.
In the future. That would be nice. It would be lovely. Thank you, Ashley. Ashley, now we come to the very important question I wanted to ask you. Very importantly, what would your message be for the future generations? That would be nice to hear from you.
Yeah. I can just see myself when I'm 70 sitting in a rocking chair with this on. I guess my messages would be, I think the whole tone of this is about being prepared. There are many, many challenges that will come our way in life and we need to be prepared. I believe things are never perfect. Certainly the COVID-19 has highlighted that to me. Everything is evolving, everything is moving, and we should never be sitting in the same spot going, well, tomorrow's going to be the same, the next day and the next day. I mean, things do change. And we've seen how quickly the world can change from one extreme to the other. We need to be ready. We need to be prepared and ready to learn. And understanding that situations, whatever the situation is, anything can change really, really quickly. One thing that's really come across to me during the COVID-19 period is looking at news and what we read in the press and how we shouldn't trust every single thing that we hear and read. I think with the COVID-19, a lot of stories and propaganda sort of was developed, and this really was unsettling for different parts of the communities and certainly different ethnic groups. So I guess my message there is, if ever in doubt, to research topics, to really have a look at it, because there were so many things that were, created, if you like, created for an audience, but they weren't always correct, but they also were damaging to different ethnic groups and different communities around the world. I guess my last message, Alyssa, would be to say to please remember, love one another. So we've got to be creative, we've got to care for each other in this world. We've seen something that the journey in the last 4 or 5 months has been very different from what we've seen before. So it's really important to make sure that we support one another and care for neighbours, I guess.
Thank you, Ashley, for the lovely message for the future generations. Indeed, love one another, care and concern and empathy during such challenging times.
Absolutely.
Will be really needed, very much needed across the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important. We all have different situations, but we've got to come back to the basis of, we're all here together. Like what I said before, when I arrived at the school, I was brand new, but we're all in this together. So let's move forward.
Thank you, Ashley. Fantastic session with you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for giving us all the insights. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ashley, once again for your time and sharing. We really appreciate it. And I'm very sure our audience do too. Have a wonderful day, Ashley. Thank you so much. I hope so.
Thank you very much, Elisa. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ashley. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode at SkyGems Academy Podcast Series 1 on the topic of how COVID-19 transformed the education industry. If you enjoyed today's episode and you love the vision and mission of SkyGems Academy, can you please help us to convince others to tune in to SkyGems Academy Podcast too? Please kindly subscribe to SkyGems Academy Podcast. Please also kindly leave a quick review and rate SkyGems Academy Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor.fm, Breaker, and various SkyGems Academy's podcast channels. That would mean the world to us, so thank you so much for your support. Visit our website at www.skygemsacademy.com to find out more about our distinguished speakers and about SkyGems Academy. We appreciate you and your continuous support. Thank you for tuning in to SkyGems Academy podcast. High five and peace out.